Hey guys, my name is Jabulani Ngoma and I just wrote, directed, and edited my first movie ever. And today what I wanted to do is go over the whole process, what I did to get to this point, and just share it because I think behind the scenes is like as cool or cooler than the actual movie a lot of the time. So first off, before we start, I wanted to thank all of you guys for all the support that you've given. I was not expecting for so many people to just be in love with the idea. I showed the movie to some people before I uploaded it and they were crazy for it. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support. It really means a lot to me on my first project, and I hope you guys will be as supportive for future projects that are coming up, maybe even later this year. So I actually want to start from the very beginning to when I first had the idea. When I first had the idea, I was driving home from practice and I thought, what if somebody was just stuck in a room in complete silence and all they had was a notebook to write their thoughts in? This is like a long time ago. This is back in November. And then I ran it past my friend David and he was asking a bunch of questions, and then I realized that's not a solid story. So then I got my friend Owen in on it, and then we spent about like 2 months writing the first draft of the script. And that really helped a lot having Owen there because he was helping me like sort of develop the story into a more firm state. And at that point we were actually supposed to film the movie in January and release it in February. But then Hamilton County went into the red zone in January, so we had to pause on production. But the fact that we had to pause production actually helped out so much because in those like 2 months that we had to take a break, me and Owen spent like weeks on end rewriting and like finalizing the script into what you see today. And even better is that I wasn't very happy with the script. It wasn't like something I loved, but then when me and Owen spent the extra time and like didn't take a break, then we could actually make the story into like a firm 9-minute short film. Also in that break time, we held 2 Zoom calls. One was just like a get together, meet the people sort of thing, and then the second one was a final anybody have any ideas sort of thing. So yeah, that's how we were meeting during the time that we had. And then once we were sure that everybody was happy with the final version of the script, then it was time to actually reschedule and move on to production.
Okay. Scene 2D, take 2.
Up until this point, I had never done any serious movies. I just did like little skits with my friends on the weekends and stuff like that. But this was an actual scripted movie. I spent like 6 months at the time developing a script and a story and getting people, casting people. To me, it wasn't just like a little skit. This was like very serious to me. So of course, like in the days leading up, I was super nervous. But as production days came, I gained more confidence that I kind of knew what I was doing. Of course I wasn't gonna know everything that I was doing because this is completely new to me, but luckily people were patient with me and knew that this was my first time. So everybody was just really happy in the days leading up and super excited. And especially it was just crazy to think that this idea that I had had for 6 months was finally gonna become into a picture that you see today. And just thinking like this idea in my head, it was like gonna be visualized into a picture. And I was super happy to think that people were gonna see my vision and that the people involved were making this become possible for me. So again, I have to thank them for that. Going back a little bit, I spent like the last 3 months before production like putting together a long grocery list of links to like Amazon and just like a bunch of like a clock, hazmat suits and stuff like that, which my mother generously paid for because she knows that I'm like seriously wanting to get into this and she supports me with that type of stuff. The total amount spent on the movie was $100 to $120. It was definitely low budget, which I don't regret because the movie turned out really good. The hazmat suits looked really cool in the end, and everything just went really well with props and stuff like that. And then with camera stuff, I'm fortunate enough to have a father that's into photography and lighting and stuff like that. So luckily I had cameras, lenses, tripods, and lights, which is super awesome that I was able to use professional gear for my first movie. Now the movie could have been a lot more expensive. We were originally actually thinking of building an entire room in my garage made out of like actual real wood. and that was gonna cost like $300, and I was like, I'm not gonna force my mom to pay $300 because I knew I could do it for less and make a good movie with it. So in the end, we decided to use curtains, which actually turned out really well. One thing that wasn't so cool is I hadn't tested the set or like set it up at all and seen if it works until like 12 hours before the movie was shot. So it could have been bad, but it wasn't because everything turned out fine in the end. And then after the whole set was built up, we had all the props, everything was written, it was finally time to move on to production. The first day actually went great. Like half of the time I didn't really know what I was doing for the entire day, but luckily I had Owen by my side and he was helping me stay on track and making sure we were getting everything. But one of the bad things is I did have like a serious procrastination problem for like the entire day, so I'd be like afraid to like start the next shot because everybody was hanging out having a fun time, which is a great thing, but maybe next time I will figure out how to be more sort of firm and get this stuff done, because the day did end up going 30 minutes after because I was just messing around when I could have been shooting. For the entire day I tried to stick to the schedule as much as possible, but there was a lot of jumping around from spot to spot, which actually didn't end up working out. We were just doing what was convenient where the camera was set up. But now after this first production day of mine, now I actually know how to schedule a little bit more and like what's most convenient to schedule, so I'll definitely be applying that in the future. Everybody was super excited to be there. Everybody just had a smile on for the entire day, and I was super happy because I was afraid people like didn't want to be at my house for 11 hours. But everybody seemed to be fine with it and was just happy the entire time, so I'm super thankful for that. And that alone was a success in itself and just made the day so much better. I'd say that my favorite, most exciting part of production was when Dominic got to break the clock, because everybody was just looking forward to that the entire day. Everybody there had like read the script, so they knew that that was going to be happening eventually, so everybody was just sitting there like in silence when Dominic was about to break the clock.
Scene 9E, take 2. 3, 2, 1, go. It's okay.
And then after that, I spent like 30 minutes vacuuming the entire area to make sure nobody stepped on glass. It's actually really weird because when you're just writing your first script and you're thinking about production, you're thinking, oh, this is gonna be super easy. We're gonna just jump around from shot to shot. It's gonna be super quick. But you'd be surprised how long it actually takes to move around all the lights and the cameras and stuff. And that was probably a lot of the reason that the day went over 30 minutes than it was supposed to. And also because I didn't account in the schedule for having to clean up the glass. So again, scheduling is going to be a lot better in the future, and now after this I know better how to do that. And then when all the glass was vacuumed up, we just shot a couple of extra shots that we needed, and then we called the day over. The second day of production was also extremely good. Not as many people showed up in the crew because we didn't need as many people. I feel like we could have taken a little bit more time outside to make sure we're getting the shots that we needed, and we could have made sure that we had all the equipment. I had to go back to my house like twice, which luckily from the location I only lived like 2 miles away, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I still could have shortened the amount of time that we were outside by being more prepared. But yeah, everybody was super excited. It was like a super warm day during the outdoor shoot, so everybody was super excited to be there and just like happy. People were joking around and stuff. It just turned out to be a really good 2 production days. I purposely scheduled filming on the first 2 days of spring break so that I had the next 2 weeks to actually edit the movie, so that I didn't have to worry about school or anything like that. My entire schedule was just cleared up so I could spend all of my time editing the movie, which I did. and it was kind of stressful because I was doing it all by myself, but in the end it turned out really good. My editing process was I spent the first week of spring break just putting all the clips together, figuring out how I was going to structure the movie, and then the second week I focused on the tiny things like coloring and sound effects and music and stuff like that. During the first week it went by like super slow, and I was really worried that the movie was going to be like extremely boring, because I had like some friends of mine watch it and they were like, their reactions weren't what I wanted. But then on the second week, on that Monday, I think I added in the first piece of music, and I was like, whoa. Like that like added so much, and I was like so happy. I could not stop rewatching the movie just for the music, like before I added any sound effects or voiceovers or anything. And then on the last Friday of break, the final touch was to have Dominic come over and do the voiceovers of the movie and just like line that all up so that it was all fit. And then after that I had Owen watch the movie, and he was like, that, I think he actually said, "That's so sick." And I was like, that like put a smile on my face, because I felt like it had done what it needed to. My friend that I had worked on with this movie forever saw it for the first time, and he was super happy with it. He didn't have much to say about it except for like it was good, which that was like a real confidence booster for me, because I was worried about what people were gonna think about it the whole time.
5B, take 5.
A few things that I learned during this entire process was definitely not to rush things. Like, if you can get something done quick, don't just do it quick because you can, but actually spend time making it the best that it can. Because during the outdoor shoot, which conveniently lined up right there, during the outdoor shoot, I was just kind of like rushing around. I had packed so much equipment, and I just ended up doing handheld for the entire time. I had packed tripods, I had packed the clapboard, and we didn't end up using any of that stuff. We just ended up using the handheld camera, which luckily Final Cut Pro has a stabilization feature, or else that would have been extremely bad. Another thing I learned is to just like know what I want and be able to tell people what I want, because I know a lot of the time Dominic was like super confused because I was telling him very vaguely just a bunch of like random stuff to do, just kind of like jumbled up, and he had no idea what I was talking about for a lot of the time. So I guess just like knowing more of what I want and what I'm expecting, because I was so reliant on the actors just to do their thing that I didn't really even think about what I wanted in the movie. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier, was don't stall. If you can be working, do the work, because you probably could have made it a lot better if you weren't stalling and you spent the extra like hour that you had reshooting things, lining stuff up, doing extra shots and stuff like that. And if you take that time, then your final product's gonna be that much better. And another thing that I mentioned earlier is that things take a lot longer than you think. If you think a shot's gonna take you like 10 minutes to shoot, it's probably gonna take you 30. If you think it's gonna take you 30, it's probably gonna take you like 45 minutes to an hour. So just planning accordingly on your schedule, which is something I feel like you can really only learn when you've had a few production experiences. Like, I probably don't know how to schedule perfectly right now because I'm not having anybody schedule. I'm scheduling for myself, so I'll probably have to make a couple more movies before I perfect the scheduling part of it. And then another thing about the schedule is actually, once you've made the schedule, stick to the schedule. I guess because I had never written a schedule before, maybe the schedule could have been a little bit better and then I would have followed it more, but I like barely followed the schedule for the entire day. And if I did follow the schedule, maybe I wouldn't have stalled so much over the day, and I would have just stuck to the plan and gotten stuff done quicker and more efficiently. Another thing is to kind of just like be in charge, be the director. I was really scared to like tell people what to do for the entire day. I just wanted people to have a good time for the entire day, which I'm glad I did. But I probably could have been a little bit more firm in telling people like when to get back on task, when to get people back on set. But in the end, it was fine. Everybody had a good time. And then pretty much the last thing I learned is just to get better with every project. Well, I've only done one project, but I'm assuming based on what I've been taught and what I've heard that every production, every project that you do, you're gonna learn more stuff. You're gonna figure out how to do things more efficiently. So hopefully along the next few films I can get better so that I can really start making some professional movies that I can show to people. What I will say is this movie in 5 years, 10 years, I'm probably gonna look back and be like, ugh, like that was really bad. But right now what I know is that I'm happy with how people think about it, and I'm happy with the movie for a first time movie ever. Like, what I feel like I'm always gonna tell myself is that this being a first movie ever, it was an amazing experience and it went really well. Is it the best movie ever? Probably not. But I know for myself that it was a great experience right now. I don't know what I'm going to tell myself in the future, but what I know right now is that it was a great experience and that I'm super excited to get better at this art. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much, everybody involved with the movie and everybody that's gone and watched the movie, because it wouldn't have been possible without you guys. It still would have just been a thought in my head. And I'm just super grateful that you guys helped me get it out there, and that the people watching the movie, that you're supporting me so much in this, because I'm so fortunate to have such a supportive community that will go and like repost my stories and stuff advertising the movie and just like being there for me. So I just gotta thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys will continue to do that for future projects and stuff like that. And all in all, I can't really complain about anything about the experience because it was all amazing, and I just have you guys to thank for that. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Brit 2DA.
Just be
Take one.
B2D.
You can't laugh. You ready?
It's
Three.
Jabu.
Hey,
Stop. I have it set.
3, 2, 1, go.
Do you have your item?
Yeah, got it right here.
Any undisclosed allergies?
No, babes.
Medication?
No, babes.
Alright, anything else you want us to know about you?
Alright, I don't think so, thank you.
So you'll be in here until you can't stand it anymore. If you stay in here for a substantial amount of time, you'll move on to the next task. But if you're not in here for an adequate amount of time, you will not. Do you understand?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it may not seem like it, but this room is completely soundproof,
Really?
so it doesn't get out, no sound gets in, so...
Not in?
No.
Oh. Right.
Yeah. So I bet you're wondering about food, huh? So...
That's not the line, babes.
Yo, it's definitely...
It's not the line, babes.
I don't know what the line is.
Right. The food?
Yeah, so you'll be provided with a meal a day, and if you proportion it, appropriately, it should last you an entire day, so...
Are you joking, May? You being funny?
No, I'm not being funny.
Are you being funny?
No.
You've got me quite miffed. 1 meal a day?
Yeah.
This is a bit of a
A meal a day,
kerfuffle.
maybe like a crumpet, a spot of tea if you're lucky.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Right.
Wait!
What?
Where's the loo?
It's right there, mate.
That's a bucket.
It's a bucket. It's your loo. Use it. That's what you've got. Have a nice day. Pip pip cheerio. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh.
Go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Kick it out.
Be faster with your run on this one.
Okay.
Jabu, just read what you wrote down.
Okay. 10G, take one.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine then.
Okay. It broke.
Again? Just put it back in the cap and it should fix itself.
Yeah.
Problem is getting it back in the cap.
Yeah.
You can do it, Jabu. I believe in you.
Yeah, just get the right one.
But
You get on. C9, take one.
Oh, my mask is on.
That's okay. Okay, you ready? You're gonna fall, but don't actually fall, I guess.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Oh,
Here, we're going. Ready?
hey,
You'll just throw the bucket.
you two behind the scenes.
Ready? Scene 14, take 2. Alright, wait just. Straight in it. Jesus Christ.
Just leaving that. Close curtain, close curtain. Just hold the curtain. No.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like you're trying to be too wordy. No, it's hazing. It's
So,
initiation.
it's gonna be like this.
And then you're fine.
You guys gonna stop right here. Where should he stop so that the clock's still?
So just have him in line with the clock.
And the first time
Okay.
I put them in on my own,
So tell him
I
to
was
stay in line with the
alone
clock.
and I could not get them
Yes.
out.
And then
So I was like,
we're gonna get an angle right here.
so I was just saying,
It's just gonna be kind of hard to do. We'll have to move the bucket. And then he's gonna break out of the position. He's gonna like walk out of frame. And then we're gonna. And he's gonna swing it hard. Mm. I don't. I'm afraid of glass going everywhere though. You know?
We have the blackboard back there that we can wrap around here.
I mean, yes. We might actually need.
Do you think Jubba knows that I've been recording the past like 5 minutes?
No.
Dominic, do you have anything you want to say? I hurt my head when I fell. So, way back then. He has liability. All my fans. God bless you, guy number 1.